I never thought a mistaken text to a millionaire would lead to a life-changing moment. I will never forget the day everything fell apart. My fingers trembled as I sent that message, my heart racing with an odd mix of excitement and dread. Dialing the wrong number should have been mundane. A simple mistake. But not that day that I had just finished a grueling shift at the diner, grease clinging to my skin and exhaustion heavy in my bones. The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry bees, and my feet protested every step. But as I plopped down on my tiny bed, I thought, why not send a cheeky text to my best friend about the totally cute guy at table 5? Instead, I accidentally sent it to him. Logan Montgomery. The name rolled off my tongue like honey, rich, thick, and laced with sweetness. A millionaire. A local legend. The ringing silence followed. My heart raced. Was he going to laugh? Ignore it? I could imagine him tall, dark-haired, impeccably dressed, rolling his eyes at the silly girl from the diner. I cringed at that thought. So stupid. But I was curious. The kind of curious that nips at your heels, making your breath quicken. Out of nowhere, my phone buzzed in reply, sending shockwaves through my body. Who is this? A simple text. But the depth in its seriousness made me sit straight up. Goosebumps prickled my skin. I could imagine him raising an eyebrow, that stunning jawline cutting a perfect shadow over his blue eyes. What was he thinking? I hesitated before replying, fear knotting my stomach. My mind raced, should I come clean? Or play it cool? Before I could decide, another message lit up my screen. You're not a telemarketer, are you? I laughed out loud, a nervous, shaky sound. No way. This couldn't be real. I replayed the conversation in my mind, heart racing with a mix of dread and thrill. The background of my life, the dull routine of plates clattering and coffee brewing, suddenly felt so far away. This was different. This was electric. But was it dangerous? I felt pulled into a world I barely knew. Glimpses of sparkling parties, laughter echoing in grand ballrooms, and secret rendezvous flashed through my mind. Yet alongside that vision, there loomed a shadow. Wealth came with chains I wasn't sure I could bear. Was I ready to step into that life? That entire night, sleep evaded me. Each time I closed my eyes, I saw Logan's mysterious smile, the flicker of intrigue in his bright stare. What could unfold with a simple text? Days went by with me tossing my phone aside, hoping it would somehow go away. But with each passing moment, I felt drawn back to my screens, conversations dancing in my head. The mundane chatter of my life felt like a prison compared to the thrill of this unexpected twist. A ping broke the suffocating silence of one evening, a fresh message glowing on my screen. I liked your text. Can we meet? My heart dropped. The invitation was clear, yet the weight of risk hung like a storm cloud. I was just the girl from the diner. He was everything. What did he want with me? Why did I feel like I was on the brink of disaster? What if I said yes? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. My fingers hovered over the screen, doubt creeping up on me like a rising tide. I stared at Logan's message, the words pulsating with the force of a change I could almost taste. How had a simple text turned into an open door to a world that felt both thrilling and terrifying? The diner felt stifling the next day. The weight of upcoming decisions pressed heavily on my shoulders. Flickers of hope warred with anxieties, each task wrapped in an ephemeral intensity. I poured coffee into mugs with mechanical precision while my mind wandered to the possibilities of meeting him. Would he see me as the girl who served coffee? The girl who barely made ends meet? As I rinsed the dishes, a sense of desperation surged within me, pushing me to lean towards the yes. Yet, the shift dragged on. Each clank of a plate reminded me of my reality, the constant struggle, the tight fists of fate, the looming shadows of dreams deferred. And then, it happened. My phone buzzed again, this time on my break. Come on, just grab a coffee with me. I promise it won't be weird. That soft flare of hope ignited a warning tremor in my chest. A promise those could lead to more tangled expectations, couldn't they? Okay, where? I texted back, my pulse racing. He replied almost instantly with a time and a place in an upscale coffee shop in the heart of the city. The anticipation clenched my heart even tighter. The evening arrived, and as I stood in front of the mirror, I carefully adjusted my hair and reconsidered my outfit for the 100th time. I settled for a simple yet elegant dress, something that felt comfortable but nice. I could pass as any other girl on the street, couldn't I? The rhythm of my heart echoed in my ears as I approached the chic cafe, the neon glow blending into the night. People laughed and chatted inside, their conversations spilling out to greet me like a whirlwind. My breath quickened as I stepped in and immediately spotted Logan. He was seated at a corner table, and despite the crowd, he seemed magnetically isolated. When our eyes met, the intensity in his gaze caused time to stretch, the world around us fading. He rose to greet me, and I felt immediately dwarfed by his presence, tall and confident, effortlessly at ease in his pristine attire. "You made it." His smile was warm yet probing, and I couldn't read the flicker behind his blue eyes: curiosity, amusement, or something deeper. "Of course," I replied, my voice a shaky whisper. "Thanks for inviting me." As we settled into easy chatter, I grew more comfortable. A thread of laughter weaved between us, and for brief moments, I forgot my trepidation. He listened, his attention unwavering, and spoke of his passions as charity work, their vision for a better community, the art that cascaded through his life in surprising ways. He spoke with the kind of fervor that drew me in, painting pictures of hope and possibility I had never dared to glimpse before. Yet, beneath his charm, I sensed a wall, an air of guardedness. As the conversation ebbed and flowed, I caught glimpses of an emotional depth behind Logan's confident facade, a flicker of frustration, sadness, or regret lingering just beneath the surface. I wanted to dig deeper, to unravel the enigma of who he truly was beyond the millionaire front. Just as I found the courage to inquire, a sudden commotion disrupted the ambience. The cafe's doors swung open ferociously, and a man burst in, red-faced and frantic. My heart clenched as he scanned the room like a desperate hawk, and when his gaze landed on our table, relief washed over his features. "Logan." He rushed toward us, not even bothering to mask his urgency. "You need to come with me. There's been an incident at the estate." An icy chill coursed through my veins as their eyes locked. The atmosphere shifted, a web of tension ensnaring us. What incident? My mind raced with dreadful possibilities. What had I stumbled into, and what would this mean for me? Logan's expression hardened and my heart sank. Realization dawning: his world wasn't just glitz and glam. It was fraught with pressure and shadows I hadn't anticipated. "Can I meet you here later?" he asked me, his voice steady, despite the chaos swirling around us. Sure." My words stumbled out hesitantly, uncertainty tightening around the smile I forced. My mind was reeling, anticipation mixed with dread as he turned to leave, trailing behind chaos. As he disappeared through the door with the man, I sat there, pulse racing, the laughter surrounding me now an echo of another world. I could feel the weight of decisions shifting, the narrow road ahead darkening, laden with implications I hadn't grasped until now. What did this moment signify for me? Was I still headed into a realm of possibility or deepening conflict? An unexpected kindness broke through my tumultuous thoughts. A barista slid a steaming cup of chamomile tea toward me. "Here, I thought you might need this." A faint smile brushed across her lips, a whisper of comfort amidst the uncertainties of my evening. I took the tea, grateful yet worried. My life felt like a fragile glass, one that could shatter at any moment. As the warmth seeped into my fingers, a realization hit me. Whatever lay ahead with Logan now loomed larger than the bubbling intrigue of one mistaken text. As I took a sip, bracing for the unknown, I whispered to myself, "This is just the beginning." The cafe hummed around me, the clinking of cups and muted conversations creating a world far removed from my spiraling thoughts. I held the cup of tea tightly, the warmth providing a fleeting refuge from the turmoil within. I could still picture Logan's face, so radiant, and yet carries the weight of something heavy. The chaotic interruption had forged a chasm between us that felt insurmountable, and yet, I longed to cross it. Minutes dragged on, each tick of the clock echoing in my ears like a reminder of the breach that had just unfolded. I stirred the tea absent-mindedly, watching the steam swirl up like my racing thoughts. What incident could have required such urgency? My imagination ran wild, conjuring dark possibilities: accidents, business complications, or worse, family dramas that play out behind closed doors. Then the barista returned, her face warm with a practiced smile. "You okay? You seem a bit shaken." "Yeah, just processing." I forced a smile, grateful for her concern, but unsure how to articulate the whirling storm inside me. She leaned against the counter, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Logan's a good guy. He helps a lot of people, especially around here." "Really?" I shook my head, disbelief mixing with curiosity. "I didn't know. I mean, I just met him." "Trust me," she said softly, "there's a lot more to him than meets the eye. Just give it some time. You'll see." Her kind words breathed a sliver of encouragement into my heart. Perhaps I wasn't alone in this whirlwind. Before I could express my thanks, she turned back to the bustling crowd, leaving me mulling over her words. I took another sip of tea, feeling the warmth settle in my chest, and I allowed myself to imagine a future intertwined with hope rather than shadows. But before I could fully embrace this newfound optimism, my phone buzzed a text from Logan. My heart raced as I opened the message. "I'm really sorry about that. Can we still meet tonight? It's important." "Of course," I replied, trying to keep the tremor out of my voice. "Where?" There was a brief pause before he texted again. "He'll come to the diner." 10 minutes? Okay. I felt the knot in my stomach tighten, uncertainty swirling with anticipation. Could this be an explanation, a chance for clarity? Part of me wanted to turn back, to retreat into familiar comfort where I felt safe. But another pulled me forward, a steadfast hope that perhaps I could stand strong against whatever was coming today. As the minutes ticked by, I couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter would change everything. When Logan finally walked through the diner's door, the energy shifted. His expression was set, eyes scanning the room until they found me. The moment he reached our table, I could see the tension etched in his jaw. "Thanks for waiting," he said, the gravity of his tone a stark contrast to our earlier lightness. "I owe you an explanation. Is everything okay?" I asked, my heart thudding loudly in my chest. He hesitated, taking a breath as if steeling himself. "There was an accident at my family's estate. My uncle fell down the stairs. He's in ICU now." "Oh no," my words faltered in my throat. "Logan, I'm so sorry." He waved a hand, weary and pained. "Thank you. It's just complicated. There are family dynamics at play that you wouldn't believe," he added, running a hand through his hair, the weight of his world clouding his iridescent charm. That I sat silently, drawn into the depths of his turmoil, feeling acutely aware of my own insignificant troubles in contrast. "What can I do?" I asked, searching for a way to support him despite the growing chasm of his obligations and struggles. "Honestly, just being here helps," he said, voice softer now. "It's been a long night." Something shifted in the air between us, a mingling of vulnerability and connection, like two stars drawn toward each other in an expansive universe. My heart ached with the weight of his words, and I could feel sadness thread its way through the space that had once felt so light. "Logan, I don't know how to navigate all this," I admitted, blinking back the sudden pool of emotions. It wasn't just his situation weighing on me. It was the realization that our lives could never intertwine without each carrying the weight of our realities. "You don't have to," he whispered, his eyes earnest and sincere. "It's okay to take it one step at a time." But as I gazed at him, my heart sank with the dread of another possibility hovering in the balance. What happens when the dust settles? He frowned, grappling with an answer that seemed to trap him behind those unyielding walls he built so carefully. "I don't know," he said finally. The honesty of that admission felt more impactful than any polished facade he had worn earlier. Everything changed tonight. The clarity hung heavy between us, and I realized that not only was he grappling with impending loss, but the foundation of his life, the sense of stability, was crumbling. My own path ahead was intertwined with his, but by how much? And what would that mean for our connection? Just then, the headlights of a car flooded the diner through the window, illuminating faces for a mere moment, and an idea struck me as our fragile moment already wading into tumultuous waters. Before I could voice my thoughts, Logan's phone buzzed, slicing through the silence. He glanced at the screen, deepening the furrow on his brow. "I need to take this," he said. "It's my sister." I nodded, feeling the implications crash over me like waves. As he stepped away, my heart plummeted. Understanding dawned that the fragments I thought I could mend alongside him were now teetering on the edge of despair. In this world of uncertainties, was I transforming into another shadow of his life? The door chimed as he stepped outside, the potential of our connection teetering as he vanished into the night. Alone once again, I took a deep breath, the storm brewing within me growing only more chaotic. Change, it appeared, wasn't just the act of stepping into a new world. It was the realization of what you stand to lose in the process. My heart braced against it all because whatever lay ahead, it was going to demand far more from us than we had initially intended. The glow of the diner's neon sign flickered intermittently, casting an anxious light onto the small booth where I remained, feeling more alone with each passing second. The chatter around me faded into a dull hum, my mind reeling with the weight of Logan's revelations and the uncertainty that now loomed over our connection. Would he return? I glanced nervously at the door, whispering a silent prayer that he would come back inside, that whatever awaited him on the other side wouldn't fracture the fragile bond we had just started to forge. Minutes stretched like elastic, the ringing of the diner's bell a harsh reminder of reality as patrons came and went, oblivious to my turmoil. Was I just another spectator in the whirlwind of grief and family drama that enveloped Logan? The thought stung, an undeniable truth that gnawed at my heart. Could I really offer him support without losing myself in the process? Suddenly, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Fishing it out, I saw a string of messages from my best friend Mia, her familiar words a lifeline amidst my spiraling thoughts. Hey, just checking in. How's the coffee date? I hesitated before typing back, unsure of how to encapsulate this emotional upheaval. Not quite a coffee date, more a family emergency. Her response was swift. Oh no, is everything okay? Talk to me. I took a deep breath, allowing her to comfort me through the screen. Logan's uncle is in the hospital. It's bad. Without skipping a beat, she texted back, I'm so sorry. Do you want to talk? I can come to you. As much as I appreciated the offer, I felt a cooling wave wash over me. Last thing I wanted was to burden Mia with my emotional weight. He'll be okay. Just trying to figure things out. What do you mean by that? The bluntness in her next message prompted me to pause, my heart racing as the question resonated. What did I mean by that? I knew I was stepping into uncharted territory with Logan, a realm where feelings and responsibilities danced dangerously close. And what of him could he truly embrace the depth of what was blooming between us amidst the chaos? Before I could conjure a response, Logan appeared back at the door, his face marred by a mixture of anguish and determination. The sight of him sent a rush of relief through me, yet the shadows of doubt lingered. Would the weight of family obligations pull him away from whatever we might build? Sorry about that, he said breathlessly, sliding back into the booth. My sister wanted to know how our uncle was doing. I didn't have much to tell her. I frowned. Pain etched into the lines of his face, but relief washed over me that he had returned. I'm here if you want to talk about it. He shook his head, the moment of vulnerability evaporating as quickly as it had come. I can't burden you with my family's issues. You don't even know the half of it. The words stung more than I anticipated, each syllable feeling like a reminder. I was an outsider peering into his life, but I had crossed a threshold that couldn't easily be undone. I want to understand more, I insisted, a plea carried in my gaze. You're not as alone as you think. His eyes flickered with a mixture of gratitude and caution. It's just so much. My family has a way of drawing you into their chaos. A painful silence settled, and I considered how our lives had intertwined because of a text message gone wrong. Each line connecting us felt more like a taut wire ready to snap, the tremors of his familial ties threatening to pull me into their whirlwind. Sometimes chaos can bring clarity, too, I offered softly, an ember of hope igniting within me. Logan watched me for a long moment, his eyes searching mine as if weighing the gravity of our situation against the connection we shared. I have to figure this out before I can think about anything else. My heart sank. Understanding dawning that he had to prioritize his family. How could I ever compete with the siren call of responsibility? I get it, I said, choking back the hurt. But don't push me away, okay? I want to help you through this. Don't think I want you to go, he said, a pained crack in his voice. I'm terrified that it'll pull you into things you weren't prepared for. Tonight is already a disaster. Maybe it's just the beginning of something different, something better. I didn't know if I truly believed the words escaping my lips, but I fought against the rising tide of self-doubt that threatened to engulf me. Just then, the door swung open again, this time swinging wide as a well-dressed woman entered, glancing around with a scrutinizing gaze. My heart dropped as I recognized her. The air of authority surrounding her felt suffocating as she strode toward our booth. "Logan," she said sharply, her voice cutting through the crowd noise. "We need to talk now." A wave of tension crashed between us, and I swallowed hard, suddenly feeling like an intruder witnessing the unraveling of his world. As Logan's expression shifted from surprise to weary resignation, I felt the thread that held us together stretch to its limit, and I could almost hear the fabric of our connection beginning to fray. The urgency in her voice and the distraught look upon his face shattered the fragile warmth we had shared just moments ago. Lost in a whirlwind of emotions, I sat paralyzed beneath the weight of their unspoken history, knowing as surely as my heart raced that this was far from over. Uncertainty flooded my veins, and my mind raced. What did this mean for us? Would I ever see the tender side of Logan again? Or would the storm of family obligations sweep him away completely? The world around me faded as I braced myself for the potential unraveling of all we had just begun to build. The weight of her presence enveloped us, a palpable tension that felt almost like a physical barrier. I glimpsed Logan's face, which shifted toward shock but quickly morphed into something more resigned, the acceptance of responsibility, perhaps. The woman, an embodiment of authority and expectation, radiated a sense of urgency that felt suffocating in its arrival. "Logan, you need to come with me. It's about Uncle Jed. There's something you need to know," she said, her tone brooking no argument. I shifted in my seat, wishing desperately to become invisible. The connection we had started to cultivate now felt suspended in time, teetering on the edge of a cliff, ready to plunge into uncertainty. Logan rubbed the back of his neck, visibly torn, caught between his family obligations and that burgeoning connection between us. "Can it wait a moment?" "I know." The woman's reply was immediate and sharp. "We have no time for this emotional nonsense. Uncle Joe's health is deteriorating, and you have to make a decision about family responsibilities." I watched the flicker of conflict in his eyes, a rush of emotions that spoke louder than any words ever could. I wanted to reach out, to assure him that I was still here, that our moment of connection was still valid. He could lean on me, couldn't he? But the looming pressure from her was suffocating. He began, but she interrupted him again. "We have to start calling the family. People will want to know what's going on, and you'll need someone to take charge." A myriad of emotions played across Logan's face: fear, anger, but beneath it all, a heartbreaking sadness. I ached for him, yet a selfish part of me felt the flames of rejection sting. This was the moment that would define us, wasn't it? The moment where he would choose the weight of family over the fragile connection we were forging. "I can talk to them later," he finally pushed back, though the faltering strength in his voice told me he lacked conviction. "Logan." The woman's voice softened, but there was a steely edge lurking beneath. "You know this is big. We can't afford to let the family fall apart. You have to be the one to step up. I can't just think about Darlene and the kids. When they find out this isn't just about you anymore." The mention of family escalated the unspoken weight in the air, igniting something deep within him. I could see the realization wash over him, the gravity of family legacy pressing upon his shoulders. This was not just a hospital visit. It was a crossroads of sorts, a point from which he could pivot in either direction. But where did that leave me? I ached with a hollow longing, wishing to draw closer to him, to ease the burden he wore like armor, yet knowing that every word I had spoken was in danger of vanishing in the haze of familial duty. Suddenly, the tight knot in my throat loosened, allowing the words to spill freely. "Logan, I understand if you need to go, but don't shut me out. Just don't make decisions without me." Our eyes locked for a moment that felt suspended outside of time, a hazy echo of everything we had shared in such a short span. There was grit in his stare, a fight flickering as he took stock of the world around us. "Zara." He hesitated, struggling to find the words as the tension in his jaw deepened. The urgency in the woman's body language was palpable. "Logan." "Now." Finally, with a resigned exhale, he turned to me, his expression opaque yet filled with an underlying vulnerability. I'm sorry. I wasn't ready for this. Neither was I replied, my chest tightening with warmth and longing. Despite the chaos erupting around us, his admission put a damper on my swirling emotions. But whatever this is between us, it deserves at least a chance. He opened his mouth to respond,